Volvo trucks aren't just machines, they're legends. From highways to construction sites, every generation has brought a truck that changed the way the world moves. For nearly a century, Volvo hasn't just built trucks, it's built icons. Vehicles that shaped industries, transformed the lives of drivers, and carried progress across continents. And today we're hitting the road through 10 of the most iconic Volvos ever made, including one that completely redefined what a truck could be. 1. Volvo Series 1 LV4. The foundation, 1928. Every story has a first gear. For Volvo, it was the LV4 in 1928. This truck rolled out of Gothenburg and instantly showed Sweden what homegrown muscle could do. It had a tiny 2.0-liter four-cylinder engine pumping just 28 horsepower. Laugh at the number, but it could haul 1,500 kilos on roads that looked more like goat trails than highways. At first, the cab was wood with open sides, basically a box on wheels. Later versions closed it up, but by then the legend was born. 500 units were sold before summer even showed up. Passenger cars weren't paying the bills, but this truck was printing Volvo's future. By the early 1930s, Volvo was pumping out light, medium, and heavy versions, pushing imports off the Nordic market. The LV4 wasn't just a truck, it was Volvo putting its flag in the ground saying, "We build our own, and we build them tough." Today it sits in museums, still grinning like a grandfather who knows he started it all. 2. Volvo Titan L395. Turbo Pioneer, 1951. Fast forward to the 1950s. The war is over, economies are roaring, and trucking needs more muscle. Out comes the Titan. The name wasn't subtle, and neither was the size. When the Titan L395 showed up in 1951, it was Volvo's biggest truck yet. Under the hood sat a 9.6-liter diesel with 150 horsepower. That was serious grunt for long hauls and heavy construction jobs. But Volvo wasn't done. In 1954, they slapped on a turbo. Now it was 185 horsepower with just 25 extra kilos of hardware. That was Volvo's mic drop moment. They were the first to shrink turbo tech into trucks without blowing fuel costs sky high. This move set the whole industry spinning. By the 1980s, turbos were standard. The Titan sold in big numbers, over 200,000 units across its family tree by 1993. It's not just iconic because it was big, it's iconic because it proved that brains and boost beat brute force alone. 3. Volvo Viking L38. The victorious workhorse, 1953. 2 years later, Volvo rolled out the Viking. And no, this one didn't come with an axe, but it sure conquered its territory. This was the medium-duty champion of the 1950s. Solid frame, reliable diesel, and eventually power steering. Drivers loved it because it did the job without fighting back. The Viking became Volvo's most victorious vehicle. In Sweden, it outsold rivals. Abroad, it spread Volvo's reach. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady, and that's what the decade needed. Aerodynamic tweaks on it even whispered at the future. The Viking's legacy? It bridged the post-war gap and crowned Volvo as transportation king. 4. Volvo F88. Global breakthrough, 1965. By the mid-60s, Volvo aimed global. Cue the F88. Released in 1965, this was the truck that told the world. Volvo means safety. Why? It had the first crash-tested cab. Drivers weren't just cargo anymore. They were worth protecting. The F88 had up to 260 horsepower and tilted cabs that made engine checks less of a gym workout. It sold worldwide, including in the US, cracking markets that were tough to enter. The G88 variant even stretched the axle forward for more load capacity. The F88 ran hard until 1977 and became the face of Volvo's international climb. Safety, strength, export success, this was the breakthrough rig. 5. Volvo F12 with Globetrotter cab. Comfort revolution, 1977. Truckers live in their rigs, and before the late 70s, that life was rough. Enter the F12 in 1977, and later the Globetrotter cab in 1979. This was the comfort bomb that changed long haul forever. Spiral cab suspension cut vibrations, making rides smoother and safer. Engines went up to 385 horsepower, giving it power to match. But the real revolution was the Globetrotter, a raised roof sleeper with room to stand, stretch, and sleep without feeling like you were locked in a shoebox. Over 200,000 F12s were sold by 1993. Drivers swore by it, companies loved it, and suddenly Volvo wasn't just about trucks that hauled, it was about trucks that cared for the driver. Comfort had officially entered trucking history. 6. Volvo FH sales phenomenon, 1993. In 1993, Volvo dropped the FH series, FH12, FH16. These trucks became legends before the ink dried on the brochures. Aerodynamic cabs, efficient D12 engines, and a design tested in wind tunnels. These rigs sliced air, saved fuel, and set new records. And here's the kicker. The FH has sold nearly 1.4 million units across 80 markets. That's more than some car models ever dream of. It introduced I-shift transmission, slapped airbags into heavy trucks, and even starred in viral ads like the epic split with Jean-Claude Van Damme. The FH wasn't just a truck, it was Volvo's best-selling statement that you can mix power, safety, and style without compromise. 7. Volvo VNL, North American icon, 1996. Volvo knew the US wanted something different, so in 1996, they unveiled the VN, later renamed VNL. This truck was born for American highways. Long bonnet, aerodynamic body, and sleepers so comfortable they made motel owners nervous. It slashed fuel use by 15 to 20%, a huge deal when fleets count pennies per mile. Models like the VN770 offered sleepers that felt like rolling apartments. Over time, it kept evolving, with updates in 2002 and the latest in 2024 packing features like vest stability tech. For over 25 years, the VNL has been the face of Volvo in North America. Ask a long-haul driver in the US what Volvo means, and odds are they'll say one word, VNL. 8. Volvo FMX, Rugged Specialist, 2010. Not all trucks spend life on highways. Some dive straight into mud, gravel, and mines. That's where the FMX comes in. Launched in 2010, it was based on the FM series but beefed up for extreme duty. Reinforced bumpers, high ground clearance, steel skid plates, it was a truck with its hard hat on. Engines went up to 540 horsepower, ready to drag loads through terrain that eats normal rigs for breakfast. The FMX proved Volvo wasn't just about shiny highways and international hauls, it was about dirty work too. Construction, mining, brutal off-road jobs, the FMX owned them all. 9. Volvo FH16, Powerhouse, 2012, renewed. Now we get to the monster, the FH16. Renewed in 2012, this truck came with up to 780 horsepower. Let that number sink in. That's muscle built for the heaviest loads, the nastiest climbs, the longest pulls. Volvo even added turbo compounding tech, squeezing efficiency out of that brute force. Tests showed it could push over 12 miles per gallon, which is absurd for a truck carrying half a mountain. Inside, it was pure Volvo, spacious, clutter-free, safe, and refined. This is the flagship, the crown jewel. The FH16 doesn't just haul, it dominates. 10. Volvo VNR Electric, future icon, 2020. Finally, the future rolls in on battery packs. The VNR Electric, introduced in 2020, isn't about horsepower records. It's about zero emissions, zero noise, and a new age of trucking. With 264 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion batteries, it runs up to 150 miles on a charge and can get back to 80% in just over an hour. Regenerative braking feeds power back, and the cab is just as safe and comfortable as its diesel sibling. It's already carving market share in North America and Europe. And while it doesn't roar like a Titan, it whispers the truth. The next icons won't burn fuel. They'll save it. From the early workhorses that built industries to the modern legends pushing the limits of power and design, Volvo trucks have carried more than just cargo. They've carried history itself. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to hit that subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of trucks, and check out this video right here for another legendary lineup you don't want to miss.